By doing what I'm about to show you, you'll never have to manually check and skim through your inbox in order to see what emails have come through on a day-by-day basis for your business. My name's Daniel, and I'm the co-founder of PageView Media. We're an AI and automations agency specializing in making business processes more efficient and making business owners like yourselves more money while also saving them time by employing clever AI and automation technology. What I'm about to show you will revolutionize a seemingly simple task like skimming through your emails every day and checking to see what's come in, what you need to reply to, and what's just rubbish that needs to go in your marketing or your junk folder. And it will allow you to do this while saving you heaps of time because you don't have to manually check and skim through your emails and seeing what it is that each email is actually asking you to do. So let's jump straight into it. So firstly, I want to show you this in action and show you exactly what I mean. So let's say, as in the example we've made out here, you are a business that does home renovations, and you get inquiries from customers, maybe people emailing you, they've seen your work and they like what you do and they want to know some more information. But in the midst of these emails that you get, there are also obviously a whole bunch of other marketing and other sort of irrelevant emails, and it becomes a daily task that either you or one of your employees have to perform. I'm sure I don't have to tell you this, where you have to go through the emails and check what it is that you need to do, and all of a sudden you might need to hire someone to be doing that for you on a daily basis to make sure that you don't miss anything, and it just becomes a hassle, and something that these days with AI and with the automations that we have access to can really be systemized and be made a lot simpler for your business and for the sake of time saving. So I'll show you that here. So I've prepared a demo email here just to send in the place of acting as if I am interested in a kitchen renovation. So you can see this email reads, "Dear Joe's Renos, I hope this email finds you well. I'm reaching out to inquire about your services as I'm planning to renovate my kitchen and have heard great things about your work. We live in Wahroonga and we're looking to update our kitchen with a more modern open plan layout. We'd love to hear more about your process, timelines, and what options you recommend for a project like ours. Could you please provide some initial information or perhaps schedule a time to discuss further? I'm keen to understand what's involved and get a better idea of the costs. Looking forward to hearing from you. Kind regards, Daniel." So the reason I read this to you guys in such detail is because I want you to pay attention to how the response that comes through, as you'll see it come through, how much attention it pays to these details. So if I hit send over here, you'll be able to see that two things have happened. Number one, me, the person who sent the email, the inquirer in this case, has gotten an immediate reply from Jemima, the assistant. So if we open this email here, "Hi Daniel, thanks for reaching out. Your plans for a modern open plan kitchen in Wahroonga sound fantastic and we'd love to help you bring that to life. To get things started, we'd be happy to chat and give you a clearer idea of timelines and costs. I'll have Joe give you a call as soon as possible. Otherwise, if there's any specific time you'd like to call, let me know. Looking forward to hearing from you and helping with your renovation. Best, Jemima from Joe's Renos." Now, this in itself is super powerful. You've just turned this person who's inquired immediately, within literally like less than a minute of them having sent the email, into someone who's already been replied to, already been reached out to from this company by an assistant. And this just really levels things up a couple of notches in terms of how serious it makes you look. And then from there, if we put this aside for 1 second, we go over to the email account of the business owner, the one who's been emailed to begin with, you'll see that this Jemima has also reached out, and it gives you a detail of this here. So email from, and it says the email, subject, which is the subject line of the email, and then the outcome is, "Daniel F. contacted you to inquire about renovating his kitchen in Wahroonga and wanted information about your process, timelines, and options for a modern open plan layout. I replied by expressing our enthusiasm to help and mentioned that you would call him as soon as possible to discuss further." And then you will see that after this, so this is just emailed exactly what's happened in this email interaction and how the assistant has replied. And then after this, you'll see that you're provided with action steps. You as the business owner are provided with action steps of what to do from this email. Number one, call Daniel and discuss his kitchen renovation details and needs. And number two, provide initial information about timelines and costs during the call. Best, Jemima. So you can see just how powerful this is, where if you've got an inbox, as busy as it may be, instead of you having to constantly skim through and constantly be checking to see if you've gotten any customer inquiries and replying to each customer in a way that suits what it is that they're asking for, or whether they're not a customer, if it's just an inquiry as it is in this case. We've thrown all that out the window and we've gone, okay, let's take AI and let's put it to work for us in this. And now what's happened is we've gone from what otherwise would have been a very, very manual and laborious task, particularly if you're a busier sort of business, and we've turned it into something that AI has just completely done for you. So look what's happened. The person's inquired. The AI from us, our assistant, if you will, has responded to them immediately. And from there, you as a business owner have now gotten a response from this assistant immediately, once again, telling you exactly what's happened and exactly what you need to do. So now instead of having to constantly be monitoring or have someone else do it for you, monitoring your inbox and going through emails and checking what needs to be replied to and what you need to say to this customer and that customer, all you really need to care about is the emails that come in from your new assistant, and having a look at what it is that it's telling you to do, because it will always tell you what the email was about. It'll always reply to it immediately in your name. And it will then also tell you what the action steps are that need to be taken from this email of this person that's just reached out to you. So yeah, I hope you can see how truly powerful this is. Now, of course, the way that we've had this set up, and I'll show you the back end of this in a second, is that it will not respond to things like marketing emails. It will not just be, sending emails willy-nilly where it doesn't need to. It knows to only respond to important customer inquiries. And in this way, it also protects you, because you will only be notified and prompted that there is action required for a specific email if it is something critical, like either an existing customer or an inquiry from a potential customer, something that really deserves your attention in the moment without any wait time. So let's get into the back end of this. So this automation, everything you just saw, has been built right here in make.com. If you're not familiar, make.com is an automations and integrations platform that lets you essentially have different pieces of software or of information talk to each other in order to allow them to work together. And this is made even more powerful with the advent of AI once again, as we have also integrated ChatGPT directly into this, once again, with the use of these make.com integrations. So essentially what happens is as follows. Your inbox, your Gmail inbox is constantly being watched, which is what you can see here in this Gmail widget. It just monitors to see if emails are coming in. We've also set it up with a filter to only actually look at emails that haven't been read. That way, if you're in a conversation, and you've already responded to a customer, none of this will even trigger, just to make sure that there's no double up of communication. Then from there, the emails get passed on to this ChatGPT widget, which essentially we have a lengthy prompt here that says that we tell ChatGPT that it is an expert virtual assistant for a home renovation business in this case called Joe's Renos, and your name is Jemima. You're capable of determining whether or not an email needs a reply based on criteria specified below, and replying to this email if this is the case. We give it some context of the type of emails that will come into this inbox, and we explain to it that we're only interested in replying to emails that come from either existing clients or potential inquiries, and strictly not marketing materials or no reply email addresses. Then we tell it exactly what it needs to do in this role section, where its job is to read the email, the content of the email, the subject, and the sender email address thoroughly, and determine whether it is an email from a client and potential inquiry, and output yes if this is the case and no if it isn't. Essentially, we want to get to a point where this prompt will give us an output that we can then turn into a JSON format, which is a format that this can then read as to essentially what we call two different variables that we can then determine from there whether or not it will continue in this flow that you see here on the screen. And if I sort of skip past all of this, what you get to is an example output that says whether or not it needs a reply, yes, and if it needs a reply, what that reply is, where you can see we've given it an example here. Hi, this is Jemima, Joe's assistant. Thanks for reaching out. I'll personally make sure Joe sees this as soon as humanly possible. Best, Jemima from Joe's Renos. And yeah, obviously we've given it a couple of examples here just to make sure it performs as best as it possibly can. From there, this output is then passed once again as this JSON, this format that it will then be able to understand. And here you can see that there is a filter and it says needs reply. What this essentially does is it says that if this is outputted yes for needs reply, it'll continue in this flow. But if it hasn't, it'll stop there and it won't continue. It won't email them. It won't do anything because it hasn't met the criteria. It doesn't need a reply. So in the event that it does need a reply, which is as we saw in the example, we essentially tell it to format the reply in a way that looks like a cohesive, a clean email, so that there will not be any doubt that this was, either written by a human or that it just so that it won't look funny, essentially. And then from there, this formatted email is given back to a Gmail widget, which is integrated with this same account that we are watching to begin with, where it'll take the email address that it needs to be sent to, it'll make the subject a reply to the original subject, and it'll make the email the one that we've just formatted with the help of our GPT widget. Now, from there, this is taken once again to another GPT widget, and we explain it to there. What we're essentially trying to do here is everything up to this point has been sending the email to to the client or to the person that inquired. And then from this point, we want to actually take that information and derive from it the action steps that we as a business owner need to know about, and what we'd like the assistant to email back to us. And this is essentially what this prompt details through. And of course, feel free to pause the video if you'd like to just copy what we have here, because obviously this works. Yeah, and this is what it does. It looks at the email, it looks at the email that it replied with, and it, in a very clean way, provides that back to you as a business owner with just actionable steps of what you need to perform, so that there isn't any question of, not just whether or not you need to reply to this email, because obviously you do, otherwise you wouldn't have received this, but what it is that you actually need to do, which will just save you so much time instead of having to interpret someone's email. And if someone has really specific requests, this will take all that work for you, and will completely just throw out the window the time that you would have otherwise had to spend both skimming these emails and actually reading through them properly to understand what it is that the person that's inquiring is asking you to do. Yeah. And then, of course, the final step here is, once again, we turn it into a JSON, just a format that it can understand. And then it is sent back to you via Gmail. And this all happens, once again, in the blink of an eye, as you saw just before. Yeah. So I hope you understand how truly powerful this is. I'm going to do one last demo here in a second, just to once again show you how this works, and the instantaneousness of this thing. Yeah. And obviously, take everything I've shown you in this video, implement it for yourself, because it'll just save you so much time. And yeah, if you need any help at all, feel free to comment. I reply, and yeah, let's get this working for you.